For the first time in history, the UCI Road World Championships come to Africa, and Rwanda, the land of 1,000 hills, is at the heart of it. To mark this historic moment, under UCI, Santini Cycling teamed up with Rwandan artist Dolph Banza to create an exclusive collection that blends cycling performances with Rwanda's rich culture. Please join me as I meet Dolph Banza to tell his story.
The main elements are going to be Rwandan geometry. There is a big deal of geometry all across Rwandan history, in either architecture or weaving, ornaments. So it's very, very rich visually. And to someone like me, it's like an infinite resources. So I have a bunch of resources I get to read. So if you read books about weaving, you will see infinite, motif that can be used, for design element. A trained eye, this is like gold. Yeah. So there is a bunch of books about the patterns. There is a bunch of historical, archive photography that you can find. There is a lot of objects that you can find online in different museums, and when you have a conscious look into those resources, you can actually tap into them and come up with something. During the collaboration with Santini to design a jersey for the UCI Road World Championship, I went through so many phases where I got to explore a lot of elements. Some of them did not end up in the final. This is a drawing where I'm trying to show the everyday utilitarian aspect of a bicycle. The stories we grew up with. We all know the bicycle repair guy, We all know the bicycle taxi. We all know milk coming, Some kids think it comes from the bicycle. So we all know all these things. We all know the bicycle transporting, merchandise. So the bicycle in Rwanda is an everyday tool. So despite having a hilly terrain, we like the bicycle because it connects the hills, it takes kids to school, it takes merchandise to the market, it takes people to work early in the morning at 5. If you wake up early, you will see bicycles before you see cars. So it's a very, very Rwandan thing, a bicycle. And I needed to take the bicycle element, even if it was introduced to Rwanda during the colonial era, and mix it with something which is more ancient, which becomes this abstract visual, and the outcome becomes a combination of both. At some point, I had something like this, right? And this was supposed to go on one leg of the short, of the jersey short. So one leg holds the utilitarian aspect, everyday transportation and connection of the bicycle in Rwanda. And on the other leg, you have the competitive aspect, which to me is a celebration of what the bicycle does on an everyday basis. Something else I did was to create a similar concept as this, but for the second leg of the short, of the jersey's short. Now we can see competition, right? So, and we can see the celebration. Rwanda is known to be one of the best countries when it comes to cheering for the cyclists. So we have some drummers, here. We also have elements of the volcanoes. I get to almost use volcanoes in all the designs that I've been making recently, but I like these. And then you have the landmark, you know. The landmark would be the convention center, which is very iconic. And then at the top of everything, you have victory here. So this is really what this is about. It's about winning, it's about achievement, it's about progress. My style is very geometric, so all the elements are chiseled. It's almost like sculpture on a two-dimensional medium. And then I get to involve more elements here. What we have here, the cyclist from a different perspective. And then I bring the structures now. You have the convention center, which is a very amazing shape. It's like half an egg, if you look at it from that perspective. And finally, so there is one very particular image that I saw years ago. It was cyclist going through a tea field, and the women in the tea plantation were cheering. I don't necessarily use images as they look. For me, it's about getting inspired and finding elements. So I have the ability to move elements and, you know, move things apart or together or change or convert. After this, we had a few, more iterations where we got to end up with something which is much more representative of Rwanda in terms of colors. So we went for the 3 colors, and this is the outcome on a dark background. After completing the designs, let's say the visuals, now there is another design part which can be called, let's say, mapping or layout. That's how I adapt the visuals on the clothing, because clothing come in different, shape and size. So you need to find the best way to adapt the design. So what you have here, you have 3 panels. This is one leg, another one, and then this is the back panel, right? And this is, to me, this is my canvas. So I needed to find how to put my design on this. So what I did was to have my structure, my half circle here on one leg and another one here. And to me, this was the best I could get on this canvas. And then the outcome becomes something that, almost equals this one. Yeah, much more, let's say, vivid tones. So that's how we ended up going for something more dark. So we have the 2 designs here, left and right. So this is how the designs ended up. Let's now go to the top, and this is how the layout is done. So it's each element on a particular cutout, and then in the end, Santini, the manufacturer, will take this design and print them on different cutouts. And then after this process, you will get the sewing stage where they sew everything together, and you get your jersey. Yeah. Design is a language. When we are using, let's say, familiar elements, these elements are, historical. It's all around us in so many ways, in different objects. So we see them every day, and subconsciously they are with us. we can relate to them, even if it's a new design, but with something that you've already seen, you know, for a long time. Somehow there is familiarity, and when there is familiarity, there is also, you know, you can relate. So to me, it's really about having Rwanda, you know, pride on your skin and moving with it. There's no better than that, especially when it comes to sports. Sports is really a celebration, you know, kind of practice. And when you attach that energy to the pride of your nation, of your history through design, that's amazing. Also, this jersey is not only being sold in Rwanda, so it's on Santini website, and Santini is one of the biggest, you know, when it comes to cycling, clothing, and all the garments. So, yeah, people from all across the world are going to be, you know, buying it and wearing it. I have already seen some posts from Japan, you know, so that's very, very interesting. What this collaboration means for young Rwandans is that growing up in Rwanda now is amazing, because you get to see Rwanda going global, and that gives you the confidence that it's possible. So we are now, you know, setting the trends, you know, we are now leading in so many fields. So cycling, events, sports, everything is now, you know, in Rwanda. So it's very, very inspiring to grow up in Rwanda in such a time. Sports events needs branding, they need visibility, they need communication. That's when artists and designers, you know, come in to support that aspect. So it's a very interesting combination, and I'm glad that Rwanda is seeing that way, because it's really pushing things on a higher level. Plus, whenever there is a sporting event, athletes will benefit from it, but also creators will benefit from it at some point. And the collaboration is always interesting when you take two fields and, you know, try to, you know, have like a combination of both. It's always interesting. I always feel grateful. That's my first feeling, because this is, I grew up as, you know, growing up as a kid, I was very much, you know, dreaming and hoping to be a professional artist. So now it has happened. Now even taking it to a level where I get to work on these, let's say, national projects, that's very amazing. That's very amazing. I feel like my contribution is really coming to, you know, in the to help, right? And yeah, boost the image of my nation. There used to be a time when international events would come in Africa or even Rwanda, but still use, let's say, experts' hands to do every little thing, because people would think that there is no qualification, but that era has now ended. So everything is now being outsourced locally here, because you have talents. So that's a big mark on how much progress we've done as a nation to really qualify and to, you know, have international standards in our practice. Design as itself is a tool, but it becomes a language when so many other topics are, you know, used to express something bigger.
Through the vision of Dolph Banza and the spirit of UCI Road World Championship, sport and art become one. And long after the finish line, Rwanda's legacy will continue to ride, inspiring generations across Africa and beyond.